Welcome to Albert Howell's podcast, Love to Hate, Hate to Love. And today, my guest is someone I love to love, Rebecca Northan.
Aw, I love to love you too, Al.
And Rebecca, you've done a few things. You've got Blind Date.
Yeah.
It's your show. You're a producer, creator of Blind Date, and Legend Has It. And you're on some TV sitcom. I can't remember. What is it?
Yeah, what's it
Something
called?
Alice?
Alice, I think.
Alice, I think.
Yeah.
Stuff like
You
that.
should clarify that Blind Date and Legend Has It are live theater performances
theater.
that most people will never have heard of.
There you go. Well, IMDb or something. I don't know if you're wondering.
Yeah,
who
I've got a page there.
You got a page? There you go.
IMDb. I've done some stuff.
Oh, so Rebecca.
Yes, Al.
Now, as I said on the show, the concept of the show is there something out there that you love to hate? And then consequently, is there something that you hate that you love very much? Mm-hmm. So let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
What do you love to hate?
I, for a very long time, have loved to hate a movie called Carried Away.
Carried Away?
Yes. Which you're furrowing your brow. You've never heard of it?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Well, thank your lucky stars, because it's the worst piece of shit on the planet. It came out in 1996. It stars Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper?
Gary Busey.
Oh my gosh.
And it is the most offensive movie ever made.
What's the... Okay, well, give us a rundown. We got to know...
will.
Dennis Hopper, Gary Busey, right off the top, I can believe that it's the most offensive movie. Like, those are two very offensive actors.
They are offensive actors, and like, just to give you a context, that by the time that the credits were rolling, I could not contain my disdain. I was like swearing out loud, and I insisted on staying through the credits because I wanted to find out who the producers were to write an angry letter.
So you saw it in the theater?
I fucking saw it in a theater.
So.
I saw it in a theater. So it's such a convoluted premise, but let me see if I can encapsulate it. Dennis Hopper is a teacher in a small town, and he teaches basically in a 2-room schoolhouse. He teaches high school on one side, and then his best friend's widow, played by Amy Irving, teaches school to the elementary kids across the hall. What else do you need to know about his character? He's got a hobbled leg because he's grown up on a farm. It's a farming community. And through flashbacks, you see that he fell off a tractor and that his foot got gnarled. So He's got a terrible limp.
Oh, okay. Just to make him a little more sympathetic, I guess.
I guess so. And he still lives in the home that he grew up with his mother. And his life is very mundane. And so his best friend, before the movie starts, his best friend has died, and he's been dating his best friend's widow for 7 years. And they teach school across the hall from each other, and they have a regular date on Tuesday nights where...
So this is like some sort of sweet, simple, small town kind of thing or whatever, I guess?
Yeah, until Gary Busey and his out-of-control city daughter and alcoholic wife move to town. And the daughter is played by someone named Amy Locane. And she's hot to trot.
Oh, yeah.
And she wears very short skirts.
Because she's from the city.
Because she's from the city and she wants to be an actress. So she hates being in the small town. And she's 17.
Oh, okay.
And Gary Busey comes over to Dennis Hopper's farm to say, listen, my 17-year-old, she rides a horse, but we have nowhere to keep the horse. Can we put the horse in your barn? I'm already bored with the description, and I haven't even gotten to the offensive part. The offensive part starts when Dennis Hopper goes in to just check on Amy Locane to see how she's doing, and she's naked in the hayloft, and she wants to have sex with him.
No setup to this or
No,
anything?
not really. Well, she's a bit flirtatious when she comes to class.
All right, and so he walks into the barn. There's just a naked woman in the straw.
Naked child, a 17-year-old.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. A naked underage.
That's right. Underage. Who really, really wants gnarly-legged Dennis Hopper. It's so implausible. Not that hobbled people are unattractive.
No,
just Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and also, I don't know if anybody's ever been in a barn, but you do not want to be naked in straw.
No, you don't want to be naked in straw. You don't want to have sex in straw. You'd be covered in scratches.
And the dust and everything.
It's so nasty, but, she's just so taken with Dennis Hopper that she... And initially he says no because he knows it's wrong. And he leaves, but then he comes back. And then she's like, I really want to make love. Like, first of all, what 17-year-old says that? So then they do. And then the whole film goes sideways. And there are these horrible scenes. There's a scene with Dennis Hopper and the sheriff. And the sheriff is like, I know you slept with an underage girl. How was it? You lucky bastard.
Oh, really? So it's like...
And then there's a scene where, like, Gary Busey, you think the dad is going to confront him, and Gary Busey is like, listen, I don't even blame you. I know it's my 17-year-old daughter's fault.
Oh, my God.
And it's this, like, date rapey, underage. And because Dennis Hopper has slept with his student, his whole life gets reinvigorated. And he goes to Amy Irving, that's playing his longtime girlfriend. And he goes to her house on a Thursday, which is out of the norm.
Oh, my God. It's crazy.
And, you know, he takes all his clothes off in the kitchen while she's trying to cook. So that's offensive. Like, his gnarly leg, and he's fucking naked, and he says, I want to fuck you on the kitchen floor. And she's like, this is not our routine. And he's like, exactly. Let's just get carried away together. They actually use the title as a line of dialogue, which always makes me want to stab my eyes out. And then if none of that is offensive enough, there's also a through line of a fucking lone wolf stealing chickens from his farm. That's supposed to be some metaphor, some bullshit animal metaphor. And there's also like not a C plot, a D plot of him having fucking collected his spare change in a giant glass jar for 30 years. That at one point in the movie, he finally just fucking smashes the bottle, takes all the change, and realizes his boyhood dream of going to the ocean and dipping his nasty foot in the ocean. And that's how it ends.
That's it.
And there's no repercussion for him statutory raping a student. Because, you know, she wanted it to begin with.
Oh, my God.
That's the dog barking in the
background.
background.
That's a dog barking. That's the lone wolf coming for those
That
chickens.
that is an animal with taste. Who, sitting outside the door, was like, I got to the end of the plot, and I'm pissed now, too.
Why would... That's such a... And so, yeah, so really nothing bad happens to him. I mean, other than...
No, nothing. Nothing bad happens to him. It's basically the message of the film is, if you're a 47-year-old man who's on the brink of midlife crisis, go ahead and fuck a 17-year-old, and then dip your nasty foot in the ocean.
Okay, now, yeah, exactly.
So bad. No. I'm so angry. Like, I'm thrilled to be enraged about it all over because I haven't thought about it for a long time.
Now I have a question for you. Why would you even go to, like, if I saw a movie that said starring Dennis Hopper and Gary Busey? I'd be like, why the hell would I?
You know why?
I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
You want to know why? Because I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it maybe 2 years later, and it was being shown at the Plaza Theater in Calgary. And the Plaza is known for showing like interesting indie art house kind of things.
Right, yeah.
So I trusted the Plaza. And I was taken advantage of just as much as that 17-year-old girl. I was lured into a dark theater under the guise of art house, and my eyes were raped by Dennis Hopper and Gary Busey.
Plaza Theater. I gotta know, how was it? How was it, Plaza Theater?
You have no idea what it's like to be sitting in the theater and suddenly Dennis Hopper, out of the blue, is naked with his nasty foot.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. It's just like, I don't know, weird... I just can't imagine somebody like pitching that movie going, okay, it's Dennis Hopper and Gary Busey.
Well, no,
like, what?
I don't remember the name of the book, but it's actually based on a novel, and the description of the novel is like, this is not a book about sex, and it's not a book about being a small town teacher. It's a book about risk taking, but the wrong kind of risk taking. Maybe. I mean, my sense is that if I read the book, I would be equally as furious.
You know, there's repercussions for taking those chances.
There's a scene where Dennis Hopper's driving his shitty farm truck home from the one-room school, and the crazy sex-crazed 17-year-old girl is suddenly standing in the middle of a dirt road in the middle of farm fields. And she just lifts up her skirt and like starts masturbating and like showing her tits. And you're like, Jesus. Yeah. Because that's what 17-year-old girls do with crippled 47-year-old men. Sure.
Like, who the hell, like, wanders around dirt roads just, like, just rubbing one out.
There's no explanation of how she got there. She just like appears out of nowhere.
What's her name? Amy Locane? Was that her name?
Amy Locane.
I was like thinking, can you imagine her agent or whatever calling her up saying, "Hey, I got the perfect. You're going to be starring next to Dennis Hopper. Oh wow, he's a bit of a legend of cinema now. What will I be doing? You'll be standing in a dirt road, masturbating at him as he drives by."
Yeah, and like begging him to have sex with you, and then like making out with him, and actually, all I can say is hats off to Amy Locane. She is possibly one of the greatest actors on the planet to have been able to do any of that with Dennis Hopper.
To play that she was actually sexually interested in Dennis Hopper. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like Oscar-worthy performance from her. I don't know, like if they were all hypnotized, like the producers had a blood contract, they did a deal with the devil. I don't know. I don't know. But I can't unsee that movie.
No.
And here I am 20 years later.
The nice thing is it gets your blood.
Furious.
Yeah, it gets your blood going, right?
I was feeling sleepy before we started, and now
you're all awake.
Now I just want to punch Dennis Hopper in his dead face.
There you go. Well, that's like me. Like I said, whenever somebody brings up the movie Event Horizon, this sci-fi movie Event Horizon with which, like I said, it should just be called The Haunted Spaceship, is what it should be called. Because there's nothing science fiction about. Like, it's so funny because it takes place in space, but there was really nothing other than the location. There's nothing science fiction about it. It's just it's just all these horrible demons or ghosts or whatever are tormenting this crew, and it's like
that movie should not be called Carried Away. It should be called Dennis Hopper statutory rapes a 17-year-old and dips his nasty foot in the ocean.
That's actually a better title. I would actually. That's a movie I would probably.
At least it's honest.
Yeah, I would actually. That's a movie I would actually go see. I go,
yeah,
that's a.
And Gary Busey doesn't have a problem with it. That's the tagline.
that's the little the line at the bottom. Yeah, the line. The way they sell it. And Gary Busey doesn't have a problem with it. Well, that's it. Because that's the sort of thing where I go, wow, if Gary Busey's in it, because Gary Busey always plays crazy guys. So I thought, he's going to find out his daughter got nailed by this teacher, and he's going to go nuts. He's
and they set him up that way because he's the retired general from the army. So he's like clearly has PTSD, and he's got guns, and you're like, Dad's going to kill Dennis Hopper. Nope. Yeah, nope, she was asking for it, wasn't she? I think he actually says that. He's like, it's been a problem, That's how my daughter is. Like, it's just like, ridiculous.
It's like a really... It's like a really bad Footloose.
It's so beyond that. Like, and actually, now that I'm remembering, like, I like at the end of every scene in the theater, I actually went, "You're fucking kidding me!" Like, what?
Well, that sounds like a good thing. I may have to watch that just so I can hate it as well. I mean,
I actually, like if you need to get angry. Like for an audition, or you're just feeling sleepy or whatever.
You want to get your heart rate up?
My heart rate is up right now.
All right. Well, I'm glad you love to hate it. Cool. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks, Al.
All right. So, but now, what is something that you hate to love? What is something that you feel terrible that you love it so much?
I feel embarrassed.
Uh-oh.
Antique keys.
And what?
Yes, antique keys. I love them.
What? But why do you hate that you love them?
Well, it makes me worried about myself because
you mean like the big old timey keys with they look like they go over like a giant old padlock.
Yes,
those kinds.
Yes, okay. I love them. I think they're like magical, and in the last few years, I love them so much, Al. I usually have one in my pocket or my purse at all times. I have a weird sense of comfort from carrying an old key with me. I know you. Look at you're
I know,
looking
I'm very
at me
confused.
Weird.
Well, because I'm confused. I don't understand. I mean, I understand loving them. I mean, they're odd, and I don't understand why you hate that you love them.
Because there is some weird collector gene in my family that I'm terrified is being activated. So my mom collected purple glass.
I remember that. Yeah, she had a huge collection of purple.
When she passed away, we had 1,700 pieces of purple glass.
Jeez.
Never mind like a house full of all the other regular stuff you have to deal with. We had 3 china cabinets plus the stuff in the Rubbermaid bins that like she would sort of circulate.
Now, just if I may, just to digress a minute, is purple glass valuable in any way, shape, or form, or is
No.
it no?
Well, I mean, I guess. I guess like amethyst glass, there could, if it's depression glass or hurricane glass or whatever, like you can get into, veins of it being valuable. No, she bought most of it at garage sales. Like it was for her, it was just like a little treasure hunt. Anyway, so that's my mom. My grandmother had almost 900 bells.
Jeez.
My mom's youngest sister has, at last count, around 800 salt and pepper shakers. And then the middle sister, this is all on my mom's side of the family, she's got something like 300 pigs.
Not real pigs, I hope.
No, but like ceramic pigs. And she has a pig tattoo and...
Wow.
And so you can see, like, I have this love of keys, and I'm like, oh God.
It's starting.
I don't want my friends to know how much I love them, because I don't want people to just like, oh, I bought you a key. It just makes things like Christmas and birthdays.
Yeah,
like we just got you a key.
You just made Christmas and birthdays easy for me.
No. Do not. Do not.
There you go.
So I love them. I allowed myself, when I was on tour for 5 months, I bought 1 antique key in each city that I was in while I was on tour.
How do you find them? Is there like an antique key?
Just go to like an antique store. We'll usually have
a few keys
laying around. So I have like a little ring, and it has 7 antique keys on it from my year that I toured Canada and the States, and then I have a few others that I carry with me for comfort.
I have like an old padlock with a key, and there's something really satisfying about inserting that key and just hearing that click.
Hearing the gear, like everything,
click,
it's very, very manual, mechanical. Like there's something magical about that. The giant padlock that I have from Nepal, the key is unbelievably beautiful. But the padlock itself, I don't know what deity this is, but on the front of the lock is this big kind of monstrous lady with boobs, and her legs are open, and you put the key in her vagina. And you unlock it. So that's pretty cool. Like design-wise, that's really cool. It's just
It's always satisfying putting something into a vagina and hearing that big heavy click.
I know, and then stuff opens. I just worry that I'm sliding into crazy old lady.
Well, at least I will say this for yours. At least it's space efficient. Like you're not like it's not like purple glass takes up a huge amount of shelf space.
Absolutely.
Like
so do 900 bells and 800 salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah, like keys at least. Like you can put them on a key ring. You can keep them in a drawer.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Unless you starting to decide you got to display them, then you're gonna have a problem. But
I know.
I guess it's a way to remind yourself of where you've been or something. I suppose. But it's just like.
Well, that's what I was thinking with the I'll buy 1 key in each city, but I had no way of marking which city you're from, and now
you have no idea.
Now I have no idea. I just have 7 keys, and I'm like, ugh.
Well, it's only 7. I mean, you're still something like 7 or 100.
No. It's not like that. It's not like that. So it's just like I have incredible enjoyment out of it, and a simultaneous like anxiety that this is the beginning of something really crazy. I actually, when she was diagnosed with cancer and we knew that she had a short time to live, I said, so what's happening with that purple glass? And she said, I'm leaving it to you. And I said, I will have a Greek wedding with this glass. And she's very dry. She didn't even skip a beat. She said, I will haunt you. I will haunt you.
God. So what did you do with the purple glass?
Oddly enough, really dear friends in Calgary, the Ambers, own a furniture store called Amber's Furniture.
Right.
And Mrs. Amber, who was very kind to me, like after my mom passed away, she said, what's happening with your mom's purple glass? I have a store full of furniture and china cabinets that are empty. She bought like the entire collection. I pulled some pieces that I liked that were special, but otherwise she bought all of it. And she actually named it the Marjorie Collection after my mom. And she put it in Amber's Furniture. And then this delighted me. Not long afterwards, she said to me, there are 2 crazy old ladies that came into the store and lost their minds when they saw the purple glass. And now, I guess those ladies, they come like every 5 or 6 weeks and they buy a couple of pieces of my mom's
gosh, that's great.
glass.
Well, my mother collects Hummels.
What is that?
A Hummel is it's a small ceramic figurine.
Oh no.
And they were the story is that they were there's a blind German nun who would draw these images of cherubic little children with big puffy, cute, adorable puffy cheeks, doing adorable little things as children do, like on a swing or playing with a dog or throwing a ball. And the big deal was she was blind when she drew these, and they looked amazing. So then somebody came along and made little ceramic figurines
out of her drawings.
From her drawings and that, and then of course those were very successful. They've expanded the line, and my mother, I'm sure my mother has, I don't know, she's definitely got like about 150 of these Hummels, and these things are not cheap. It's not like they're like $5 or $10. These things are like $50 or $60 a piece.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so then, but you're going to inherit that. What do you do?
Well, I can't have a Greek wedding because that stuff's way too valuable, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
So many people collect different things. What is that about? Is it the treasure hunt? It's the like thrill of seeking and finding?
I do, yeah. I don't think it's the having. I believe it is the getting. It's like it's that hunter-gatherer sort of aspect of being human or whatever. It's like we don't go out and get food and stuff anymore, so now we got to go out and get something else.
There isn't also like underneath that like just pure selfishness of like, I will have all the Hummels.
Yes. No one else may have any.
That I like amount of deeply subconscious level. Like maybe is that you're driving towards someday I'll have them all.
Yeah, or something. And that sense of completion too. I think there's a sense of completion to it, and then you can say I got them all.
I've got them all. Yeah. I think you're right that there's a hunter-gatherer kind of aspect to it. Then that's satisfying because we're not hunting and gathering anymore. Right, so what do we do with our bored selves?
Yeah, go get some keys.
No, I'm holding that at bay.
For now, we'll see what happens.
I think
awareness. We'll come back. I'll come back to you in a year, and we'll see where you're at. See how many more keys you've added.
You know what? Awareness is the first step.
Yeah, I guess admitting you have a problem.
Admitting I have a problem, and that I come from a long line of, problem collectors.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you love keys, and I'm sorry. So technically, you don't hate that you love keys. You hate that you. What it indicates, what it may.
That's more what it is. I hate that it might mean that I'm becoming a crazy old collector.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. I'll go with that. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Rebecca.